Okay, so basically for the last two anion you should be familiar with, right? The first one is actually a nitrate. So usually for nitrate, there is no need for you to write the equation because it's a very complex, there's a complex product form, so it's not required in the syllabus. Then if you look at the chemical test, right, the key word here, there's actually two. So wherever you see aqueous sodium hydroxide, you know that this is a test for cation. Okay, but how do I know that when I add sodium hydroxide, I'm actually testing for anion is when you see this term aluminium. Okay, so if you add sodium hydroxide, usually you're testing for cation. But if you add sodium hydroxide and aluminium foil, you're testing for nitrate ion. Okay, so when you add these two reagents together, right, to the salt solution, there is not much observable change. So in order for you to see the change is when you test for the presence of the gas. And that's why you need to warm it. This one you need to warm it. Okay, so we'll be looking at the use of Bunsen burner later on. Okay, so as you are warming the gas, right, now that you're wearing mask, you definitely cannot smell it. Usually when you heat this mixture, there's a pungent smell, which is something that doesn't smell so nice, that is produced during the reaction itself. Okay, then this gas, when it's produced, you put a piece of moist red litmus paper. So take note, your litmus paper must be moist. If it's not moist, it will not change color. Okay, if it's not moist, it will not change color. So what do I mean by moist here, right? Any strip of litmus paper, just add a few drops of your deionized water or distilled water onto the paper so that that portion is wet. So the portion of the litmus paper that is wet, when you put it into the gas, it will actually turn blue. But if the paper is not wet, it will not happen. Okay, so these are things you need to take note of later. Then if we move on to the last anion you should be familiar with, okay, this is definitely going to be your carbonate. So the moment you see that you are using lime water, you know that you're actually testing for carbonate already. So that's number one. Then how do I know that when I carry out a certain experiment, I'm actually trying to test for what gas I'm supposed to test for? As long as you're adding an acid to a substance. Okay, I repeat myself. Usually when you add an acid to a substance, be it the salt solution or solid, the two gases you must test for is CO2 and H2. If you link it back to your chemical properties for acid, right? Acid reacts with reactive matter to form hydrogen gas. Acid reacts with metal carbonate to form carbon dioxide gas. So usually when your reaction involves acid, these are the two gases you have to look out for. You need to know when and whether you need to test for them or not. So this is why they say add dilute acid. Any of the dilute acid will do. Then after that, you bubble the gas produced into lime water. Okay, so I think the observation for lime water test is pretty straightforward. You should be familiar with it. So you have the formation of the white PPT, and we explained this yesterday. So this white PPT is formed when your carbon dioxide gas produced, bubble into your lime water, produces the calcium carbonate solid. So this is the white PPT. Then along with that, you actually get water produced as well. Okay? Okay, so this is the equation that follows it. And this is the white PPT we are looking at. So if you if you come across those questions that we did in the TYS the past few days, right? If they ask you to identify the white PPT form when you bubble into lime water, it's actually a calcium carbonate. But lime water itself is calcium hydroxide. Okay, so there's many different compounds of calcium. Just make sure you're not confused by them. Then the equation wise is just the standard one, where your acid reacts with your metal carbonate to give you salt, carbon dioxide and water. Okay? Okay, so this is all for your entire worksheet 3.